Welcome back to Ethereal Material, where the mystical meets the practical.
We are Priscilla and Carla, two professional mediums discussing the gap between the seen and the unseen.
All topics are on the table for dissection, and today we're going to talk about intuitive games that raise your vibe.
Fun. They raise your vibe. They give you a sense of familiarity, and they're just fun.
No pressure.
Right, because you're gonna astound yourself at the way you can validate
intuitive
things.
you are,
How intuitive you
whether you like it or not.
So let's talk about some of them. Like one of them is a coin flip, right? You can.
Coin flip.
So you're going to have heads or tails, and obviously we're just going to intuit. This is not guessing. So let's talk about setting up.
Yeah, setting up the vibe.
Setting up the vibe. So first of all, have the intention. I'm not just going to guess. I'm using my intuition. Intuition can feel like guessing.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be the very first thing that pops into our
mind.
mind.
That's important. You need to be neutral. Don't overthink it. And again, this is not a test. So if you're doing it, don't stress out.
Exactly right. So the odds are 50-50 if you're flipping a coin that you're going to get heads or tails. And so just do this 10 times in a row. And if you get better than 50-50 odds, you're relying on your intuition. If you don't get better than 50-50 odds, it only means that you are not paying attention to your intuition. It doesn't mean you don't have an intuition. It means, let me do this again. Let me slow down a little bit. Let me just focus more on what feels, or if you're a visual person, what you seem to see about this.
Or know.
Or the knowing.
Just know.
Right, just the knowing.
You'll see what clair of yours works. And again, there's no pressure. Don't overthink it. This is fun. You could do it by yourself. You could do it with a friend. It doesn't matter. It's just the easiest thing. And we know that it is a 50-50 chance. So that's why you want to defy the laws of reason on that.
And you can do this one of two ways. You can determine and then flip the coin. You can flip the coin with your eyes closed and then take your time, tune into your body. Do I feel this is heads or tails? And then open your eyes and look. So find out what works best for you. If you feel too much pressure, like I got to call it and then flip, take your time, flip it with your eyes closed, sit for a moment and tune in. One of the most helpful things that a person can have is a sense of yes and no, right and wrong, heads and tails. So you can even associate heads being yes, heads being the truth, heads being a positive reaction or a positive connection with something, and tails being the opposite of that. And when you can, in this particular game, find yourself, and you will, if you take your time about it, better than 50-50 odds, or better than the odds, which are 50-50, then you'll know that intuitively you're pretty good at and getting better at, this is a yes, this is a positive, this is true, this is good for me, or this is not a good idea, this is not going to turn out well, this person isn't telling the truth. These sorts of things. So,
but all that comes later.
Yes, right.
We just want you at first to flip the coin and go heads or tails.
And the point being, when you get that on or off, yes or no, heads or tails, that is very easily translated to truth or fiction.
Fact or fiction.
Fact or fiction. Exactly right. So that's a fun game. You can do this one with you probably have to make this, or I guess you could buy it. But if you have a bunch of index cards, how about just like regular playing cards?
Okay.
Just a deck of regular playing cards. And you're going to tune in again and just determine not the card itself, but is it a red, like diamonds or hearts, or is it black, like spades or clubs?
And once you develop that, then you can go to what suit it is, if but not suit, the number.
The number or the suit in particular.
King, queen, whatever. You can do red or black, but then you can build it up.
Right.
So that is a cool one.
Yeah. Remember, this isn't you're not practicing guessing. You're not practicing counting cards. You're not practicing, beating the odds. You're practicing
math on this and try to ask ChatGPT.
You're practicing responding to a feeling. There's no time in the sixth sense. Remember that. So there is no future in the sixth sense, and there's no past in the sixth sense. So before you flip that card, your intuition already knows that it's going to be a red card, a heart, or a diamond, or a black card, a space, or a club, or the heads of a coin or the tails of a coin. So that's what we're practicing, our reception and our acceptance of what we're receiving intuitively with those kind of fun games.
And you can do that by yourself or with a friend in front of you, because there's another one that you can do you have to do it with someone else, where you put something in a bag.
Oh, yeah.
So you can do this on Zoom with a friend
Right.
or a person in front of you, where you take a bag and you have the person put something in the bag that you have no idea what it is,
Right.
and then you tune into it and telepathically describe what it is. Now, great if they put in a spatula and you say spatula, but you might draw something like the shape, or you might
Right.
write things about it, and then vice versa.
Or you might have the feeling, like I feel
Right.
like I'm cooking.
Yes,
Or you
exactly.
might have the taste, like suddenly I
Yeah.
taste my grandmother's spaghetti sauce. Or, whatever that's, or, I feel like I'm being like my grandmother used to slap me with a wooden spoon. I mean, it could be, remember, it's not necessarily just a visual. It could prompt a memory, it could prompt an emotion, a feeling, and it's going to make no sense. So these
Yeah, the no
these
sense is the
these are my
best.
favorite
Yeah,
games.
no sense is
The
the
like
best.
what's in the bag game. So friends and I used to do this all the time just for fun, where we put something. We had those little brown lunch bags,
That's
but
really
it can be
funny.
anything. You can
Yeah.
put it in your pocketbook. Doesn't matter. But put something in a bag. Take a picture of it and text it to my friend. And tune in for a bit, and I do the same thing. And
Yeah,
no pressure because we're just
that's
having fun. We're
fun.
flexing our muscles a little bit. And yeah, sometimes you come up with, and that's what you want to pay attention to, the really wacky
The
offbeat stuff.
wackiest, they're the best. Trust me
Yeah.
on this. Absolutely. What about the option of being outside? And I don't know if you've ever done this, but you have to be with a friend or several friends, where you pick a person and you each, now we know that you're going to look at them and stereotype them,
Oh, yeah.
because they have great shoes on or whatever, or they don't. But what if you then take all that away, have a whole thing about them, and have your friend do the same thing and compare?
Right. So if you're all like sitting in the park, or you're at an outdoor cafe, and a person, say a guy in a suit walks by, and you all decide, let's go into our own minds and see what our intuition tells us about this person. Like you said, if I see a suit, I'm gonna think, oh, Wall Street banker, makes a lot of money, is married to a nice yoga pant wearing kind of stay at home PTA mom, sort of, our minds, our logical minds are gonna make all of these assumptions. Let's move past that
Mhm.
and tune in and think to yourself, what does this person do for a living? What are his hobbies? Maybe even what ethnicity, like what, maybe he's white, but maybe what Northern European country does he come from? Or is he married, or any of these things, the non-obvious things. And you might probably want to decide, well, no, you wouldn't have to, but then after a certain amount of time, say 5 minutes, you guys all share.
Yeah, because you're not going to know, because the guy's walked away by now.
Right.
But see how many of you, ruling out the he works on Wall Street thing,
Right.
see how many of you come up with that he's allergic to peanuts
Right.
or something
Exactly.
like that. And then I guess the lines could cross on whether you were intuiting him or telepathy amongst
Right.
yourselves.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. So
Right.
that's kind of fun, because you can go a lot of different ways with that. It's
Yeah, and it really,
entertaining.
and once you've done it one or two times, it's absolutely astonishing. You
It
don't feel the
really
pressure. You feel
astonishing.
like, wow, 3 out of 4 of us said he's got a peanut allergy.
Yeah, yeah, that, I
Did
mean,
we
that's
just
so
make this
random,
up, or did
right?
one of us intuit this from him, and then the other 3 at the
Right,
table
you're
intuited it
not
from
gonna
her?
know, but
Yeah, it's so much fun. Those things are so much fun. Um,
I'm trying to think. Hold
well,
on.
what about, we can do a similar one with emotions.
That's true.
Like, learn to recognize emotional energy. This you also want to do with a person. So it's going to be, again, a tuning in, using your intuition. Now, so you take 2 people, one person is going to be, let's say, the subject, and no, the object, one person's going to be
Both of
the
those
reader,
work.
one's going to be the
Those
read.
work.
So if you're the person who is going to be read, I'm going to call up an emotion in my mind, but I'm not going to show it on my face. So if I need to turn around or leave the room, in order not to show up, but let's say frustration, and I'm going to think about all the things that might have frustrated me, and so I can feel the emotional energy of frustration, or joy, or celebration, or victory over a difficult odds, or one of these sorts of things. And the person who's being the intuitive person is going to tune in, get into your own, and see what emotions you are feeling. And again, you're going to astonish yourselves when you find yourself, let's say if I'm doing frustration and you're sitting there in another room, and after our 3 to 5 minutes, whatever, you come in, you're like, I feel so frustrated. I'm
Yeah.
going to be, that's the emotion that I was focusing on. That's the one that I was calling out. So sadness, excitement, any of those things. But the important thing there is not no body language.
Yeah,
So
no
we
body
turn
language. You take
around,
them out. It's all
be in another
energy
room, right?
or telepathy.
Yeah.
And you'll realize that you pick this up more often than you know.
Yeah.
Standing on grocery lines, in a
Mhm.
store, at a party.
Right.
That can often, so notice that if you're actually in an event space and all of a sudden you feel something that, why am I in a bad mood all of a sudden? Or, oh,
Right.
I feel happy.
Exactly.
You are being affected by energy, which you can
Right.
absolutely control and help yourself. So don't worry about
And
that.
when a lot of people feel that they can't, they describe or define themselves as being empathic.
Yeah. And
Which
then they take it all. They say, "Well, I'm an empath. I'm an empath," and they just leave it
they
like
just,
that.
I
And they
know,
say, "Oh, it's destroying me." I'm like, "No, no, it doesn't
but you
need
don't have
to
to.
destroy you. I
And
promise you that."
if you become familiar with with emotions that are yours versus emotions that are somebody else's,
Yes.
you will never be gaslit. You will never be manipulated. You will be able to back out of a situation before things get too tense to control. You'll be able to go towards a loving relationship, even if, logic is telling you, oh, all guys cheat. This is going to be a guy like this. But if you can feel and distinguish between your emotions and the emotional energy in a room or the emotional energy of another person, that's really valuable information. And it's not manipulative, it's just
No,
sensitivity.
it's not at all. We do one more that
Yeah.
I thought of.
Yeah.
When you can do it with, well, I like doing things in threes, and I know you do too, where you get up in the morning at a clear head, and you can do this for manifesting, but let's do this for precognitive intuition.
Okay.
Write three things down that come to you randomly, like set the intention to I'm going to receive that will happen that day. It could be you saw three orange cars. It doesn't have to be life changing.
Yeah. In fact, I would say not.
Aim, start slow, low, slow, whatever.
Unemotional, unimportant
Yes,
stuff.
unimportant. Please go unimportant. Don't say I found, a bag of money. We're not doing that. You could say I found the penny,
Not in Intuitive Games 101. We're not doing that, but
but
maybe one day.
but pick three things and see if they occur that day. And again, we want you to do it intuitively versus the manifestation of bringing into you, because that does work too. But we want to separate the two because we want to
Right.
build up the intuition muscle and see
Right.
what happens.
Right. So let me see if I get this. So you're saying like when I just get up, and I think about three, not necessarily three things that I want to happen for me
Correct.
today,
Just random
but
things.
what random things, I'll
In the
see,
day.
maybe I'll narrowly miss a squirrel while I'm driving, or, I'll get stuck behind three school buses or something like this, right?
You
Something
just open
random.
up and
Okay.
it's almost like in a way kind of automatic writing. Just be
Got
like,
it, yeah.
okay, three things, and say you write down walnut, and
Right.
how often do you see a walnut
Yeah,
rolling on the
sure.
street?
Yeah.
Just say, and you put the intention as far as show me three things that are going to happen today, and then you write them.
Mhm.
Versus, I would like to bring in three things. That's
Right,
for
I
another
see.
podcast.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
yeah, I think that's a really cool thing because you can scan your day.
Yep.
And you can do it with emotion. Like how will I feel during the day?
Oh, that's
And
good. Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool. I love those things. And this is play, really. This is our spirits want to play. There's profound information and knowledge and understanding in play. And there are even messages of sorrow, even contact with spirit people, when we're experiencing their loss, and that's sad. Almost always their connection, their messages are playful and they're lighthearted and they're reassuring. So your subconscious mind, through which your intuition and your spirituality um, is piped, its primary role is to keep you safe. So your own intuition is never going to frighten you. It's never going to throw you under the bus. It's never going to set you up for disaster. It's usually because we're ignoring our intuition that we find ourselves in trouble.
That's true.
But our intuition is always going to tell us the truth because it's invested in our survival, and our well-being and our spiritual self-expression. So have fun with these games.
Try
Be
these.
playful about
Let
it.
us know
Don't
how
take
you
it
do.
too seriously, right? And just have a blast. And again, when you put your mind to it, you're going to find that, damn, I really can do this.
Yeah,
And
you'll be
it's
surprised.
so empowering because you develop more and more trust in yourself. And if you've ever been a person who's, had a struggle with low self-esteem or felt like, well, I have to pipe down here, or I shouldn't say anything. It's so
It
empowering
is
to know,
very
like,
empowering.
I I get things. I'm picking up on things. Maybe I don't have a college degree, but I know this about that, and I know this about myself, and I know this about this crowd. And that can be, not only can it keep you safe, but it really empowers you to discover more about yourself and pursue those things. So thanks so much for listening. And we would love to, if you have things that you try or games that you
Yeah.
play, please send us an email. You can email us at info@etherealmaterialpodcast.com or etherealmaterialpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear your experiences or games you play or how you might have tested or developed your
Yeah.
skills yourself in a fun way. You can also send us, if you're listening to this on Buzzsprout, you can send us fan mail. We can't answer that, but we can address it in subsequent podcasts. We are on TikTok, I remember it this time, YouTube, and Spotify, and Instagram.
All right.
Right, I got them all. Well, it was wonderful playing games,
Yes.
as always. And until we meet again, keep believing
Keep questioning.
and keep in touch. See you later.